Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, then as ever, I'm going to ask you to click that little subscribe button down below. It really does go a long way to help me and to help the channel as we look to grow throughout the coming year. You can hold off clicking that subscribe button for now, maybe see the content, see whether I am worthy of your subscription. Right, we're going to do things a little bit different today. I'm going to pit two previously reviewed guns up against each other, and hopefully it will give you guys some insight if you are in a bit of a quandary as to which platform better suits your needs. Right, those weapons today are the Tokyo Marui MP7, or MP7s in general really, and the KWA MP9. Now this is also manufactured under the ASG name as well, identical guns. But as you can see, right off the bat, they are very similar platforms. They have a very similar silhouette, an operating function. They're primarily designed for the same type of situational play, in terms of airsoft obviously. You're most likely to be taking one of these into a CQB environment. So really, for us to take a look at things like their ability to group shots or reach out over distance is probably a little bit negligible. You're going to be looking more for agility, responsiveness, just usability really, I suppose, in that sort of case. But just to touch upon it, I would say that the MP9 probably has the greater overall range capability because of its higher power output, but it's not going to be accurate. It's nowhere near as accurate as the MP7 over any distance really. The MP7 is really good at grouping shots. I've had no trouble with the MP7 hitting a 14 centimeter target at 25 to 30 meters and consistently doing so. It's very nicely put together and has that Tokyo Marui magic as you'd expect. So just to summarize that, probably the greater overall range goes to the MP9, but for accuracy over that range or over a usable range would be the MP7. And as I say, better at grouping shots over any range than the MP9 as well. So let's talk about CQB, where these things are most likely to shine. So, as you can see, they are both very compact designs, very similar in length. If I line up the two stocks here, you can see that the MP9 is just a tad shorter when everything is fully out on the braces. The MP7 does have the ability, obviously, to retract its brace to a 7 and 6 inch length as well, which would make it the shorter, more compact weapon in that case. Neither of these weapons come with a particularly useful thread or muzzle or anything like that. In the case of the Tokyo Marui, these things come out of the factory with a 12mm positive, I believe. As you can see, you just stick a small thread adapter on to turn them into the standard 14mm counterclockwise. Not quite so easy with the MP9. They have this particular muzzle on the end, which is really only going to be usable with the B&T suppressor, or even the power booster with its extended barrel. You can get a thread adapter for these. I've never actually seen one myself, but I do know they exist, so that's an option as well. But obviously everything's just going to add to the length, and the B&T suppressor, while it looks really nice, is quite long, so and unwieldy, and fully metal as well, so it adds to the weight. Right, This particular one on the Marui is the A1 version, so we have the foldable foregrip here, which is why I've chosen to leave a foregrip on the MP9 just for comparison's sake. Although, strictly speaking, this particular model comes with no foregrip. You can get an MP9 with the pre-molded foregrip, obviously, as well, so that's something to consider if it's of vital importance to you. Both bodies are made of polymer in their entirety. I would argue that the Marui's polymer feels nicer. I can't say that it's likely any stronger than the polymer on the MP9. I've never been unfortunate enough to drop either of these to test them, but they both feel genuinely solid in their construction, so I wouldn't have too many worries about which one is the better quality polymer in that respect. In terms of rate of fire, so we'll talk about the internals. The MP9 wins it hands down. The thing's an absolute bullet hose if you let it. The one downside to that is obviously we're looking at these as potential CQB weapons, where you are likely to be limited to semi-auto only or single fire. So you're going to be stripped away of the MP9's capability in that respect. And that is really where the MP9 comes alive, when you let it go full beans. So that really, for me, sort of takes away some of the shine of the MP9. In terms of reliability, unfortunately, that's going to go to the Marui, hands down. The MP9, as some of you will be well aware, is plagued with reliability issues, whether it be down to the fact that these things, they're so aggressive in their rate of fire that they do have a tendency to shake themselves to pieces. They do need regular maintenance. In terms of CQB, again, you will likely have to replace the bolt in the MP9 to even make it site legal, because they do come in just a tad hot. Again, CQB bolts, like thread adapters, are readily available. You shouldn't have any issue with getting hold of one. Although it's going to add to the cost, and that's another factor, because out of the box, the MP9 would win the cost objective. Coming in at just shy of £200, it represents, about 2/3 of the cost of the MP7 we see here. That being said, once you add, sort of a thread adapter to run a tracer, you run, the CQB bolt, maybe you want the alternative brace system as well to bring it more in line with the MP7. Because again, links will be in the description down below, but there is actually a retractable stock system for the MP9 available as well. But once you start delving into that, you're adding to the price, and again, you're taking away from the reasons to buy an MP9 in the first place, that rate of fire, the cost effectiveness of it, and everything else. In terms of magazines, unfortunately, the reliability issues continue as well. I've not had a problem with mine, I'm pleased to report, but it is common knowledge that the MP9's magazines can leak after a while. They have issues with feeding sometimes that has been reported. Like I say, I've never personally had a problem with anything on the MP9. Although mine is still relatively young in that respect, so give it time. Which platform would I say is better? Quite honestly, I'd say for reliability and usability and ease of maintenance, the MP9 is probably the better package. It has a nicer retractable stock system out of the box. Its fire controls are nicer, I've got to say. I'm not a big fan of cross-block fire selectors that you find on the MP9 and some other weapons as well. So yeah, just for usability, ease of use, maintenance, reliability, the MP9 really does win this scenario, I think. If, however, you are considering an MP9, I should say, sorry, the MP7 wins this, hands down. The MP9 does have its place in the airsoft world, and for all of the reported reliability issues, in the rough year I've owned mine now, with a little bit of regular maintenance, I've never come across any of them. It's been a nice little toy to use out on certain CQB days. My kids have enjoyed using it as well, even when it is limited to single shot. It does have a nice degree of kick to it. It makes a lovely noise, and it is a really nice all-round package. And I've got to say, for £200, if you can buy it out of the box and run it in a woodland environment, so you don't necessarily need the CQB bolt and that kind of thing, then it is a great little gun. But yeah, the winner today is the MP7 for me. Okay guys, if that's been of any help to you at all, then as I say, a like and a subscribe is always welcome. And I'll see you in the next one.